So I'm presenting a project called Per Pulverum ad Astra today, which is Latin, meaning through the dust to the stars. The start of this project was that I discovered, looking on the internet one night, these images from NASA's website of the planet Mars. And they have this huge collection of photographs taken of the planet Mars available on their website in quite high resolution, available for people to download and kind of use copyright free for their own intents and purposes. And there are these really beautiful, fascinating images. And I think these photographs of Mars, which obviously depict a planet that no one has yet stepped on, they both kind of bridge a big gap, a big distance between us and this other world, at the same time as they kind of reaffirm the remoteness of this other world. So while you have this kind of dual sense of closeness and distance, accessibility and inaccessibility, the knowable and what is totally unknown, this kind of coexistence of those things formed the starting point for the project, I suppose. And in many ways this is something that is true about all kinds of photos, but in these photos it becomes kind of particularly apparent. So what I started to do with them was that I, first of all, just made simple crops from them, just reformatting them into what used to be the traditional 35 millimeter, what's it called? Kind of. Yeah, exactly. The next step was to take them to a lab that could transform the digital image that was downloaded into a negative, a 35 millimeter negative. So I got a number of these digital images from Mars remade into 35 millimeter negative, and I then proceeded to place them around my apartment, underneath bits and pieces of furniture and things like that, and left them there for a period of time to gather dust. The next stage was then to take them into a dark room where I hand printed them with still the layers of dust on top of the negative. So what you see here is the white marks kind of on the surface of the, on the surface of the picture are the marks left behind from the dust formations. And for me, what really started to become interesting as well with these is how the dust really starts to interact with the surface and atmosphere of Mars, and the dust starts to become like strange kind of planetary atmospheric dust storms, or some kind of flight patterns from creatures, or something like that. And it's really a kind of celebration in both the kind of flatness of the photograph and the camera's kind of inability to distinguish between what is just on top of the photograph, what is really close, and what depicts something really far away. And the initial idea was really to come up with a method of combining an extreme close-up with an extreme distance shot, and create an image which contained both the very near and very far, a kind of collapsing of space in which, you know, the near and the far can coexist. And for me, it was also very important to, or what I felt when making them was that I wanted to achieve a kind of sense of dizziness when looking at the images, and I wanted to have a kind of simultaneous gravitational pull towards, you know, the earth and the dust that's around us, as well as a kind of pull upwards, you know, towards space, into the gravitational field of Mars.